2024's latest supernatural thriller Consumed delivers intense suspense. A woman is washing a wound by a stream when she suddenly notices that the clear water has mysteriously turned blood red. Following the flow of blood, she sees a gruesome sight not far away: a mutilated, skinned corpse lying there, horrifying in its brutality. The woman hurriedly called out to her husband, who was camping nearby, and the man looked closely at the carcass and gave the answer that it was the carcass of a bear, but for some reason it had been skinned. He speculates that it might be the work of poachers, who only take what they need and disregard the rest. However, the woman senses something far more sinister at play. As night falls, the man hurriedly pulls his wife back to their campsite. Jay and Beth are a loving couple on this camping trip to celebrate Beth's one-year remission from cancer. As dusk settles, they sit around the campfire, enjoying a rare moment of tranquility. Suddenly, two gunshots shatter the silence, likely poachers hunting illegally again. Jay reaches for his phone to report the incident to the rangers, but Beth stops him. Reporting it would mean cutting their trip short, and this trip is deeply meaningful to Beth. Reluctantly, Jay gives in, but as they drift off to sleep in their tent, Beth has a strange and unsettling dream. In the dream, she's bound to the ground, her nightgown barely covering her. Outside the tent, a slender hand appears. Dream Beth jerks awake, desperately struggling until she finally breaks free from the dream. Waking up, she finds Jay missing, and a surge of panic washes over her. Grabbing a flashlight, she ventures into the dark woods to search for him. Suddenly, a sharp, ear-piercing sound cuts through the silence, startling her so much that she drops the flashlight. As she picks it up, she notices a puddle of revolting, sticky substance on the ground. She feels nauseated, and as she follows the trail of the substance with her light, she catches a glimpse of a blurry figure quickly retreating into the woods. Beth has no idea what it is, but her instincts tell her it's not a normal animal. Just then, Jay returns from relieving himself. Rushing back to their campsite, they are shocked by what they see. In just a few minutes, the campsite has been trashed, covered in the same disgusting sticky substance, as if something terrifying had rampaged through. Jay discovers a claw-like object, clearly left behind by some unknown creature. Suddenly, roars echo around them, making them realize the gravity of the situation. They quickly put on their shoes and prepare to flee. Following the map, they aim to reach a shelter 10 miles away, hoping to find safety there. However, along the way, they encounter more of the repulsive substance. Then, they witness something unimaginable. In their frantic escape, Jay accidentally crashes into a tree, the pain forcing them to slow down. They look up at the stars, using the North Star as their guide, and continue walking from night until dawn. Suddenly, a strange sense washes over Beth, as if the scenes from her dream are coming true. The unknown creature is now close to them. At that moment, she feels a deep, unprecedented sense of danger. Just as they prepare to move on, Jay steps into a bear trap, blood pouring from his ankle, leaving him barely able to stand. Beth, desperate, helps her husband struggle on, but it's not long before Jay collapses from blood loss. Frantic, Beth realizes they can't continue like this. She decides to leave Jay temporarily to find help, but as Beth doesn't get far, the unknown creature tracks her down. Beth quickens her pace and eventually stumbles upon the fabled shelter, only to find it long abandoned, with no signs of human life. It's then that she notices a deep, dark pit in the ground. Curious, she approaches, only to discover a flayed human skin nearby. A sight that nearly makes her faint with terror. That nightmarish feeling returns. Beth knows the shelter isn't safe, and she flees in panic. Finally, she hides in a concealed hole within a thicket, where she unexpectedly encounters a man. By this time, the unknown creature is dangerously close, and the situation is dire. After a long wait, the surroundings finally return to silence. With the man's help, Beth manages to bring the injured Jay to the man's underground bunker. To her shock, the bunker is filled with the belongings of countless explorers, their gear lying eerily still. After tending to Jay's wound, Beth is desperate to leave this perilous place as quickly as possible. But the man, Quinn, urges her not to waste her energy, warning that they wouldn't get half a mile before being killed by the unknown creature.
What the hell is that thing?
Wendigo.
Jay pulled out the mysterious object resembling a fingernail. He was familiar with the legend of the Wendigo, a malevolent, man-eating creature with terrifying psychic powers. Under Beth's desperate pleas, Quinn finally relented, agreeing to leave this dangerous place at dawn. However, before the sun rose, Beth was abruptly awakened by Quinn and forcibly taken out of the bunker. Quinn plans to get on Wendigo's trail first and then come back to free Jay. The two cautiously hid, waiting for the creature to appear. Beth accidentally caught a glimpse of Quinn's locket, which held a photo of a young girl. It turned out that Quinn once had a beloved daughter who had tragically fallen victim to the creature. Despite waiting for a long time, there was still no sign of the creature. They decided to move forward, hoping to find an opportunity to escape. However, not long after, Beth realized that Quinn had disappeared. Suddenly, that familiar nightmarish feeling descended upon her again as she noticed a shadowy figure rapidly approaching. In this critical moment, Quinn's gun roared to life as he fired fiercely at the ghostly figure, but the creature cleverly escaped. It dawned on Beth Quinn wasn't trapped here. He was using her as bait to hunt the creature. Quinn offered no explanation. They hurried back to the bunker, where Beth was horrified to find Jay burning up with a fever, his life hanging by a thread. Yet, Quinn didn't seem intent on leaving. Coldly, he insisted that Beth stay as well. Quinn suspected that Beth was ill, as the creature not only fed on human flesh but also had the ability to take over the bodies of the living. This type of creature often targeted those who were physically weak, likely because its psychic power was limited. His daughter had been killed in this way. Facing Quinn's suspicions, Beth finally confessed her secret. She had never beaten cancer but chose to hide the truth, hoping to leave her husband Jay with some beautiful memories. The nightmarish visions she'd experienced were actually signs of the creature trying to invade her body. Because of this, Quinn refused to let her leave the bunker until he had completely destroyed the creature. Beth didn't resist Quinn's decision, but as he slept, she quietly picked up a match from the ground. She had noticed earlier that something seemed hidden beneath the floor, suspecting there might be a secret passage below. After crawling through a narrow tunnel with difficulty, she eventually discovered a hidden chamber. The sight of human remains before her made Beth nauseous and instantly revealed Quinn's true intentions. To avenge his daughter's brutal death, he was willing to use live bait to lure and kill the creature. Her suspicions were confirmed when she returned to the bunker, and Quinn finally confessed everything. From the moment he first saw Jay, he had planned to use him as bait. Hearing this cruel truth, Beth was heartbroken, but she still begged Quinn, asking to replace Jay as the bait. It wasn't until Beth mentioned that Quinn would have done the same for his daughter that he was moved and reluctantly agreed to her request. Before her departure, Beth said a fond farewell to her husband Jay and then took the monster's fingernails with her. Soon after, they sensed the creature approaching. As Quinn provokes the monster, Beth takes the opportunity to roll aside. However, when Quinn heard his daughter's voice, his defenses crumbled. After the monster leaves, Beth tries to go up to help the injured Quinn, but to her surprise he is still obsessed and blackmails Beth with a gun to get into the sling in an attempt to lure the monster again. But while Quinn was distracted, Beth used the creature's nail to stab him in the neck. Blood spurted out as life quickly drained from Quinn's body. In his final moments, he came to his senses and handed Beth a knife, instructing her to use it to cut the rope. However, after struggling for a while, Beth lost consciousness from exhaustion. Fortunately, the rope eventually snapped under her weight, causing her to fall to the ground and escape. In Quinn's last moments, he saw the creature, now resembling his daughter. Before it vanished, Beth regained consciousness at dusk and began a desperate attempt to flee. But in the end, the terrifying creature dragged her away. Immediately after the monster launched an attack on her soul, she felt as if she had fallen into an endless abyss, and as if she was lying on a hospital bed, with the vastness of the starry sky in front of her, plunging her into a deep fear. When Beth opened her eyes again, she found herself in the creature's lair. Suddenly, she spotted a dagger on the ground, a glimmer of hope in the darkness. Gripping the dagger tightly, she began to cautiously explore the cave, searching for the creature. As Beth crept through the cave, she was suddenly attacked by the creature and lost consciousness. When she woke again, the scene of the attack replayed in her mind. Struggling to her feet, she once more picked up the dagger, trying to find a way out. Yet, the cycle repeated, being attacked, losing consciousness, and waking to pick up the dagger several times, with no escape from this terrifying cave. After countless struggles and attempts, the image of Jay suddenly appeared in her mind. This time, she did not lose consciousness. Her thoughts were consumed by Jay. Beth lay dying on the cold stone, her strength waning, and her consciousness fading. Finally, the creature appeared before her. The creature slowly pried open Beth's mouth, preparing to place a translucent cocoon inside. But at that crucial moment, Beth suddenly drove the dagger into the creature. The creature recoiled in pain, retreating several steps, clearly unprepared for this sudden attack. Regaining its composure, the creature angrily hurled Beth aside, intent on continuing its sinister plan. But this time, Beth thrust the dagger deep into the creature's mouth, and it collapsed with a thud. Beth quickly severed the creature's head, and a clear liquid oozed from its neck. However, as she turned to leave, a translucent cocoon-like object slowly crawled toward her. Without hesitation, Beth stomped on the eerie cocoon, crushing it underfoot, and then crawled out of the underground cave. Returning to the bunker, she found some fever medicine in a travel bag and gave it to Jay. After a quick wash and some rest, the two supported each other as they successfully fled from this terrifying place.